folks. It is a chilly morning here on Liberty Reservoir, and I'm on Matt Elliott's boat. Matt has set up his Cruise, Torqeedo Cruise 6.0. It's a 9.9 horsepower electric outboard, but of note, he's doubled up his batteries. So he's using the 24 volt power batteries. We're gonna get out here and catch hopefully some smallmouth, largemouth. But I'm actually wrapping up collecting data for what his speed and range is. I know we hit 8.6 mile per hour. Matt, you said, Matt's filming me now, you hit how much solo?
9.5.
So 9.5 mile per hour by yourself, but with two people in here and a full amount of gear, yeah, we hit 8.6. So I'll get that speed and range data up, and we'll look at that a little bit later. But we're gonna get out there and throw some jigs and blade baits so we can catch some nice December reservoir smallmouth, largemouth.
Crappie.
It's a crappie. Yeah. All right, got the first one on a blade bait. He hit the front one. That was what you showed me last year, using the double hook.
Okay.
So we're sending him back home. But putting the double hook there instead of the treble on the front, it just snags less.
Okay, so what we're looking at is a bunch of bait fish. These are probably bluegill and crappie, and we're fishing a deep shoreline. When that temperature drops below 50 degrees and gets into lower 40s, these steeper banks will load up with a lot of bait, and that's what I'm looking for to fish with blade baits and jigs.
White perch. Should I just leave it on there as like a trailer? Here, I'll just put that back down. Maybe something will eat it. Should I get the net? Oh yeah, I see him.
Little guy.
So we got the first keeper of the day.
He's starting to get fat.
Yeah.
The belly's tight.
It's just a little football jig and a little piece of pork.
Nice.
Smacked it.
I don't know. Oh, it's a little hook.
Beautiful.
Cool. So, one of my hand-tied jigs with the bat wings.
Oh, that was one of those laid on the bottom.
It was laying on the bottom. Yeah. How did you know that? Did you watch when I set the hook? Yes, the blade bait was laying on the bottom.
It's the nicest one so far.
All right. So yeah, Matt and I were discussing this earlier. Sometimes you do want to let a blade bait just sit right on the bottom. And that was how this one hit it. You know, as it's getting colder, the bait fish die off. It gets cold, then it warms up and it gets cold. And the cold shock of a lot of these these bait fish, I mean, they're not always just dead, but they're easy pickings and they fall down, and I gotta get pliers on him. I caught him on that that belly hook, that little twofer hook. So, oh, thank you. Held them good. All right, made with the Do It mold. I'm gonna put him on the board for the blotchy bass bonanza. Even though it's over, you can still put fish up there, and it helps the biologists that are researching the black splotchy conditions. So I'll get him on there.
Smack. There's some black spotches.
Oh, nice.
That's what we're talking about.
Oh, man. Oh, chunker. Very nice, man. Chunker.
We have here. Chunk. It's another chewer.
Nice.
Got another nice largemouth. A football jig. Brown rubber, pumpkin trailer. Simple. We've been fishing deep all morning and haven't caught anything, and we changed up, fished the grass edge where we saw some bait along the grass, and they're chewing. Yeah, so 4.72.
You like it when they...
I love it. I can't get enough.
All right, so Matt's getting some big fish with the bigger craw profile. I'm switching over from the smaller black one that I was using. I'm using the larger bat wings and a little bit heavier jig, finesse jig that I tied with the Do It mold that I make these. It's really the Midwestern finesse jig, but I do them with the collar, and I tie the skirt on there. Just matching his success with something what I got. Thought you were setting the hook again, man. Bigger profile. We'll see how that does.
Fish on. Oh, I didn't make it that close.
Yep, it's got another one with blotches. He's coming up.
Nice.
So I'm glad that I followed your lead on a bigger profile, heavier jig. How much do you think it matters that the heavier jig is just kicking up stuff on the bottom?
I think it can make a difference for sure.
Yeah. So that'll be another one to get on the board. You know, I've talked with the biologists that are doing the blotchy bass bonanza, which is over now, but they were looking at it in terms of trying to figure out what it is, what the onset was. I need pliers on this guy.
They're right behind you.
They're just trying to figure it out, and I just know from winter fishing for such a long time that it's once it gets cold you see more and more of them. So I will continue to put these fish and enter them into the blotchy bass bonanza. Even though it's over, you can still help the biologist by showing them the prevalence of it. So I'll go ahead and put him here on the board. You can see some of the blotchiness on there. I am going to show him both sides when I release it, because there's certainly more, and this isn't how you put the fish on the board, this is backwards, but I'll show him both sides when I release this fish. and I think they're going to do it again next year. But that is the on the My Catch app. We go to Add Catch, take a picture. You don't even have to worry about it being closed mouth or anything that you normally do in the catch photo release tournaments. I do want his tail to lay down. Relax. We take the picture, say that's good. He's what, 17 and a half, but you can do a hero shot, and this is what helps them get a second look at it. I'm gonna get full light on me with the fish and take the picture, and this just gives them more looks at what the fish is, and it shows the blotchiness. So I'll do a release video and show that side, and then this side show the tail, all the blotches, and then we let it go. There it goes. So hopefully that is helping the biologist figure out what the black spots are about.
So last couple nights I've been working on some battery trays. I welded up 2 battery trays, and I added 2 batteries, 2 additional lithiums to my setup. And it's hard to see, but I have another pair of batteries in the far back, but these extra 2 are wired in parallel so that it doubles my run time, which we're pretty far up at Liberty, up lake at Liberty, so it's real nice to have additional run time to where I can come up here and fish, come up at a decent speed, and then go in at a decent speed instead of really having to monitor the batteries. I've doubled the range now, so it's been a great experience so far with it today.
So let's take a break from the fishing action. I'm just going to post the speed and range that Matt has with his setup now. He really only needed for the Cruise 6.0. You know, you can get by with 2 of the power batteries, or really 1 of the power 48, but he basically doubled up, and that's going to give him a whole lot of range. So he has 4 of the power batteries in here, and you know, with that 8.6, you said you got up to 9 something solo?
Yeah, by myself was 9.4, 9.5.
So a lot of range with a really nice speed. Let's look at those speed and range numbers.
So today I'm throwing a 1 ounce football jig with brown rubber, hand tied with just a big salty chunk. And I'm throwing on a 17 pound fluorocarbon, which is what I like to throw my jigs on pretty much, either 14 or 17. And been throwing it on the Dobbins Ecstasy series with the Lew's speed spool. And this rod's extremely light and sensitive, and that's important for me because, you know, even though
1 ounce isn't a lot when you're heaving this thing all day long. You know, a lighter, more sensitive rod makes for a more enjoyable day. Added sensitivity to feel those strikes. Like the last fish I caught, I never really felt the fish hit. Usually on a jig, you know, they pound it. But like any other bait, it's not always one way. That last bite, I was just trying to grind it down the rocks, and then felt a little bit of resistance, just a tiny bit of pullback, and I set the hook. I think that's important. Anytime you think you might have a bite or smell a bite, anything, hook sets are free. I learned that a long time ago, and that is true. I don't know how many fish you catch and you set the hook, wind it in, release it, and then all of a sudden you're thinking, man, what was that bite like? Every time I catch a fish, I try to play it back in my head. What was that bite like? And then there's certain times where you just instinctively set the hook and jam them, and you never really felt anything. You're just kind of in sync with what you're doing. And I'm a strong believer in paying attention to all the details. You know, every bite can be a little bit different, but they're all little pieces of the puzzle that add up. So I pretty much throw all fluorocarbon on my bigger, heavier jigs, and I like to have a wide spool. A couple of the loose models like this offer a wide spool so that I could really put a good bit of 17 to 20 pound fluorocarbon on, as opposed to a narrower spool, which I'd prefer to use braid on, because I do like to make long casts fishing in open water, so it's nice to have a good bit of line on this spool.
Yeah.
Okay. Small jaw on the big jig.
Hey, man. Cool. Yay. Smallmouth.
You ate it.
Chunk or smallmouth. Look at you. So this jig is not a jig. It's a Ned head that I tied the jig on. And these are the heavier sizes, and Matt and I were just discussing how he throws heavy and I throw light, and maybe it's just the river angler in me that resists throwing something that heavy, but you know, I don't know, deeper water, maybe it's banging around down there, I don't know. I gotta get comfortable with throwing the bigger, heavier stuff. Almost an 18-incher, nice smallmouth, we'll get him back in. Thanks for playing. So we're cruising back down lake. You think there's some spots you want to hit? Yeah, it's getting later in the day, and we made a good run up here to the top. You got some spots on the way back you like?
Yeah.
While we're headed, give me a rundown of your season.
Okay.
You guys got Angler of the Year again.
Yeah, so we were fortunate to get Angler of the Year for the 3rd year in a row. That was awesome. And we had a great season. We won 3 tournaments, got runner-up twice, and a 3rd place. So
solid.
Yeah, can't complain with that. So
what's the common denominator? I mean, talk about some of the other really good sticks in this series. And what common denominators do you see with people that are consistently in that top 3 or 4 or 5 boats weighing in fish?
I think it's guys putting their time in, for sure, and adapting to things that change every year. I mean, the technology, the depth finders can be pretty intimidating and expensive, but yeah, there are a lot of awesome anglers in the club, and most of them have fully loaded boats, you know, that can put you in a position to, you know, where the sky's the limit with catching
fully
fish.
Loaded in terms of, you know, electronics.
Yeah, like there are a lot of guys with 10.0 Torqeedos, multiple screens with the down scan. side scan, forward-facing sonar.
Right.
So, you know, it's been pretty wild watching it all progress. I mean, most everybody, I would say, that's getting a boat for the reservoirs is going with lithium.
Right.
There was a time where lead acid 6 volts was everything.
Right.
I think we're past that, and you know, it does cost a little bit more money, but I think the benefits, you know, far outweigh the investment. You know, the cost of the investment.
For sure.
So.
All right, sun is almost down, and we got one more of these points to work. I'm gonna put the blade on it. What you got there?
Jig eater.
Nice, man.